Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Neighborish livecast. I'm Super Dave, aka Mr. Incredible, and with me, as always, is my man, 100 Grand, the one and only Just Mike. What's up, bro?
I'm just fucking with you, Dave. I'm just fucking with you.
Try to give me a heart attack, bro.
I'm sorry. I just thought,
right,
awkward. No, I'm just messing with you. Let's welcome our guest, Dave. Let's welcome our guest.
Definitely. We have a great show for you today because our guest today is one of the premier actors in the DMV. She's a proud graduate of Morgan State University with a bachelor's of theater arts. Her stage credits include The Color Purple, The Wiz, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Charlotte's Web, The Vagina Monologues, For Colored Girls, and many more. You've probably seen her in one of her many commercials for companies like Casa Permanente, Toyota, Massa Network, or AARP. I met her on the set of a short film that we worked on together by the name of Frozen Yogurt. That'll be out sometime next year. Of course, I'm talking about the lovely and talented Miss IO Browne. Welcome to the Neighborish livecast. How are you?
Thank you. I'm so happy to be
here. Welcome.
For having me.
Yeah, definitely, man. I'm glad that you were able to make it and kick it with us. She was supposed to be on last week, if you guys noticed, but in the pursuit of remaining one of the premier actors in the DMV, when you get an acting job, you got to take it. But I definitely had a conversation with her, and I want to say I've been doing like podcasts and internet radio shows for about 6 years now. Only 2 people have personally called me when they couldn't make it. That was Joe Claire and this young lady, and character speaks a lot in this business. And that's one of those things that I really appreciate about her. So thank you for that. I'm really excited to talk to you about a lot of things. You got a lot going on between, the acting, directing, teaching, things that you are doing or have done or have coming. But first, there's a couple of things going on in the city, in the country, in the world that we're going to talk about a little bit. We like to talk about, current events and things going on. So I'm going to start with the talk of the last week or so has been that versus battle between the Locks and Dipset. Did you guys see it?
No, I didn't. Okay, so the last verses I saw, what was it? It was tag. Don't give me the line. You're gonna be the Isley Brothers.
Oh, okay.
That was the last one I saw. I was like, oh, don't kill me. We find out what it is. But yeah.
Oh, you good. Yeah. But the series is dope. We've talked about, on here a few times how just that whole vibe has been amazing. And this one was a really good one for like hip hop heads who really, in the hip hop. This was like one of the best ones. Just those 2 squads going against each other. Mike, did you see it?
This one was a good one for the generation. It was necessary. One individual in particular was rediscovered along with his conglomerates, the Locks. I think that I normally don't watch them. I was at work. Somebody's like, Mike, you watch this? I'm like, no, just give a shit. I'm grown. Versus, I don't give a shit.
What?
And so, yeah, I was like, I don't hear that. So I watched it. Man, first of all, I'm not a tremendously big Dipset fan. I don't really care for the bravado, brash. I don't really care for all that. I care for, street and real type shit. So the Locks killed them. I mean, like cold murdered them. And then the love and the maturity that they showed through all the BS. They had, Styles P and Cameron getting into it. Cameron is a big personality. And, but it is what it is. It was awesome, y'all. It was awesome. It was something to behold.
It was really good. Like I said, for hip hop heads like myself, seeing these.
It was like a roast. It was almost like a hip hop roast.
Well, I mean, as people have compared it to that, especially the way Jadakiss was going at them for using a music and using the lyrics in the songs and stuff like that. Things that are like hip hop 101 that you don't really do. But at the end of the day, it was a great show. It was a great show.
It's awesome. The new generation. The new generation's when they're seeing it. They're like, hold on. What up? my father always talking about my day, my rap day. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Miss Brown, you got to chime into it. I mean, you have to tune into it if you get a chance.
I gotta check it out now. I definitely gotta check it out. You know, I've been so busy, I haven't had time to watch Versus. But I know at the time when it was really like, you know, just coming out and, you know, everybody was getting into it, I had all the time in the world, you know.
Right.
I check it out. I definitely.
Okay.
They did one for Missy. I know they still was trying to figure out who they can match with her. I don't think they found one.
Yeah, that'd be tough, man. I don't know.
I think maybe Diddy can go against Missy.
Oh, it'd have to be somebody on that level, right?
Yeah.
When you look at their catalogs, what your goal is to provide a really good show. And if it's like songs, it's different. I didn't like Monica versus Brandy unless they like in a boxing ring. I don't even really give a shit like that.
Why people always want to see them fight? They talked about that on
that was a whole BS. That was a whole
song. That's it. That one song.
That's all the whole drama.
Yeah, but get together. Everyone just always trying to put them up against one another. But they have two different styles.
Right.
And it showed that night too. I do remember that night.
Okay.
In the atmosphere. I know they was trying, you know, make it look like it was nice after with the pictures of them hugging, but I don't know, energy speaks clearly. And everyone was like some
them kissing. They kissing, that's a better picture.
Oh Lord. Anyway, but I know you do some singing too, IO. So between Monica and Brandy, did you have a favorite between those two?
Ooh.
That's a tough one. If you don't, it's cool too.
Oh, that's tough. Because they just, to me, they're so different. Like, it's just a different vibe. It's a different vibe. Yeah. I can't even.
And if she ever wants to write for them, she can't necessarily pick one day.
Well, you know, I mean, you still have an opinion, you know. But
I mean, got a point.
No,
that
she
is
can't
true.
pick one right now. That's future work. That's a future endeavor, Dave. No.
That too, yeah. I gotta be quiet.
Okay, so how about this then? Who would you rather write for? Brandy or Monica? Like
that's still a bad question if she tried.
Well, no, because when it comes to styles, you know, one of them are one of them in your wheelhouse as far as their style, the way you deliver a song.
Okay, so it would be Brandy. Only because I hope this is I just think.
Don't worry, nobody sees this. It's cool.
Got like 7 views.
Monica
on a good day.
Who she like Mary J. Like we love when she sings sad songs or the real lovey-dovey songs. But Brandy, I think she's very versatile in her lyrics where she just sings about a lot of different stuff. So I would Brandy in this sense, especially just me personally. I don't like hearing a lot of songs on the radio that's sad. I just don't like hearing sad love songs in general. Like I wish we had more happy songs or just something else. Like why we always gotta be crying sometimes.
That's true. Yeah.
That we need songs to lighten us up.
That's true. Yeah. People look for entertainment. You want to be, hyped up. But yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about. I wanted to ask you guys a question. So I saw a story about the dude, the actor Terry Crews, about him receiving his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and that's dope. You know, he was he's really famous for being, the dad on Everybody Hates Chris and a couple of other the white girls. I mean, what was the White Chicks role and what was it, Friday After Next and things like that. But I just wanted to, seeing that story reminded me of some comments that he made a couple of years back about the Black Lives Matter movement and all of that. And I was wondering, like, did people cancel him? Like, is he still cool to support Terry Crews? What you think, Mike?
I think that whomever you support is your business. I didn't know that he was canceled. I know that I didn't know that he'd done enough to get a Walk of Fame. He did an Old Spice commercial and shit. I mean, I don't know how that,
Oh no, he's done a lot. He's been in a lot of things.
I'm not over him dancing in How Do You Want It and from Friday, so I can't.
A lot of people say he violated back there with that.
No, but I mean he's a hardworking brother. He's worked hard. I mean, but I don't give a fuck. Okay.
Okay.
I have a situation similar to this with the last play that I did, and I think the question really goes down to like, how do we separate the artist from the person? And I think, you know, as an artist, he deserved his star. However people feel about him as a person, it's tricky. Like, how do we differentiate that, or is it even possible? I think in his case, for him receiving a star, I think he does deserve his, you know, flowers. He's worked hard, and it's not easy. And as an actor, as a full-time actor, I can say it's not easy. And to, you know, to get to his caliber is just, he deserves his flowers for sure. And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, I would also, I don't know the criteria for you to get a plaque on a sidewalk. I don't know what the criteria is, because you have Donald Trump's out there as well, and so is Liberace.
All right.
Michael Jackson. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, fame in and of it's a walk of fame. Thus, you know, whatever their criteria is theirs. I don't know.
Reaching a certain level of fame, but I do want to touch a little bit on what IO said, because we talk a lot on this show about separating the art from the artist, and how that's become kind of a narrative these days with a lot of people. Most notably, people like
lack thereof.
Yeah, well, exactly. So people like Bill Cosby. We talk about like how they still play the Cosby Show and things, and I mean, it's such a classic, iconic program. Like, I still watch it regularly, you know, and I mean, whether or not he's guilty.
I got 217 channels on Xfinity, and I stop at A Different World and Cosby Show and Living Single and more every damn time. Like, this is what I do.
Yeah. So in cases like that, do you think it's harder to separate, you know, where it's something that might be morally questionable?
I think it really depends on the artist. Like, I feel like we contradict ourselves with some artists. Like, it's easy for some people to cancel Bill Cosby or R. Kelly, but it's a lot of artists who are making music and they're saying it in their songs. Like, they're saying, I'm about to slip you this Molly and you're not even gonna know, or you know, gonna wake up with your pants on the floor. Like, there's people who saying stuff. I just make that up, but there's people
you got bars, son. You got bars.
I'm gonna take my horse to the hotel, you know, and I'm gonna ride
Old Town Road.
No more. I mean, he's telling you what's going on.
He
wasn't listening. He just wasn't listening.
Just jam into it in their cars, like, oh, this is my song, that stuff. But like, they saying that, and we not really processing, you know, what they're saying exactly. So I think we're very selective with who we cancel, and I think a lot of people do kind of go on the cancel train, where it's like, oh, well, because it was publicized, and like what they did was publicized, now we got to cancel them, or because everybody is canceling them, now we got to cancel them.
The train. They want to get on the caboose. They want to follow.
Right. That was a great metaphor for it.
Exactly. They want to get on the train. And I think if you're really for whatever they're being canceled about, then don't just do it for one person. Do it for everybody who's doing it, even aren't publicized yet. But in their art, like, you can hear it, you can see it.
Right. Exactly. So as an actor who that definitely doesn't shy away from more controversial topics and things like that. And we're going to talk about that some more in the interview. But just on this topic of cancel culture, do you worry about that? You know, do you ever worry about saying or doing something that might get you looked upon negatively?
No, because everybody has something to say. You know, it's somebody to this day right now who just can't stand me. You know, I don't know the person, but I'm sure it's somebody out there. Like, somebody always has something to say. So I really just don't care, because the more time I spend on worrying about if I'm going to get canceled or not, you know, I'm missing out on opportunities. Like, you know, I'm too busy stressing over you when I could be over here, you know, bringing more blessings into my life. Like, I'm not worried about it at all.
Yeah. Would you ever consider it when it comes down to a certain type of role that you might accept? Like, the role might be something far out there. You know what I mean? I mean, would you ever? You know, does it come into play when you make decisions on the roles that you accept?
I am very conscious about the roles I accept. Yeah, I was actually having a conversation about this, excuse me, with a friend of mine. Because when I first started acting, I would just go off and just select anything, or, I would look at, character descriptions, and I was just like, oh, okay, well, I just want to be on the screen, or I just want to be on the stage, so I'm just about to do it. But I'm very aware now of what I choose to do, because if it doesn't feel right to me, then I'm not doing it. And if I know, if somebody I have to keep in mind that eventually somebody is going to view it. And if I don't really think it has a message that's impactful, or it's not really benefiting someone in a positive way, even if I play like an evil character, someone who's just wilding out, like if it doesn't have some type of impact, I'm not going to do it, because I'm just not like, but I'm not pressed to pick up every opportunity that comes my way. I'm not. I'd rather do something that is purposeful and something that I feel that, okay, yeah, I really put my all into that. Like, I carried that with me. And because I carried that with me and I really put my all into it, I'm pretty sure somebody else is going to feel that when they watch it.
Right.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm sorry. I don't want to get too far ahead in the
Oh no, you good, man. That was actually a really good question.
I have little girls who are listening and they watch me. So where does all that integrity come from? Where'd you get all that integrity from?
Like the love, or like, what do you mean?
the integrity, the ability to realize that it's the things that you do when nobody's around that you do, and the decision that you make when nobody's around that actually make up your character. And those decisions are good when nobody can see you make those decisions and nobody knows you made them. Well, therein lies their integrity. I see you carry a lot. Where'd that come from? Oh, we got deep quick, didn't we, Dave? And I don't want to smoke weed. That's some shit.
Okay, the first person that came to my mind was my mother, because my mother's a businesswoman, and she works in I can't say the company, but she works in a very well-known company where she's the only Black woman who is in a very high position. And she's surrounded by a lot of men, a lot of white men. And I would just see her sometimes come home and cry. But, just frustrated at a lot of things that was going on in the workplace that a lot of people don't know about. But she still just kept pushing. She kept pushing. She would get up, she would get dressed, have a lot of grades, very poised. Like, at the end of the day, I'm gonna cry, but I'm gonna dust it off, because because they need me at the end of the day. I have a lot to offer to this business. So I think I just watched my mother growing up, how she handled a lot of situations, not just with career, but with her personal relationships. She would go through a lot. And I didn't know until when I was older just how much she was going through. And we had that conversation later on in life. But just knowing that, she just kept walking, and she carried herself with dignity. And I really took that. And I'm like, I don't just want to be a woman out here just doing anything, taking any type of parts, just giving myself away freely. Like, I want to make sure that everything I do is a purpose.
Wow, that's dope, man. Shout out to moms real quick. Yeah, that's dope. That's dope, man. Yeah, what'd you say, Mike? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm saying because she's right. She's pretty. She can go and act and be anywhere. Anybody accept her for just about anything, and she's a pretty brown girl. And when she carries herself a certain way, well, then somebody else is looking up to that as well. As part of, what we were talking about the Olympic situation with Miss Richardson, the young lady with the weed situation. I'm upset because it's a little girl who's just like her from the hood, who's going through the same thing she's going through. And I just really wanted her to push through. I wanted somebody to be in her corner and not give her that J. Give it to me. Pass to me. And let her do her thing and get this gold, because in 4 years from now, 3 years or whenever, we don't know if she's going to be the fastest person in the world. These every 4 years, it's very rare that you duplicate, your performance from 4 years beforehand. So it goes to show how who we're portraying ourselves as, who we are.
Yeah, there's a lot of mental wear and tear that goes into the sports arena. We were talking about that too, about like Simone Biles and her decision, you know, to step away from some of the events and things of that nature, and how like this just a lot mentally. And originally I was like, well, you know, you think about her team and that was selfish, and she made the decision based on different things. But then, like I was telling you earlier, Mike, about what would you say the young lady's name was? We were talking about who years ago was famous for flipping off the beam, her leg was broken. Yeah, and on the one side it's like, oh, that's that, you know, heart of a winner and a champion and all that, but on the other side it's like, it's kind of crazy. Like, if you hurt, you know, don't injure yourself further or run the chance of that. Like, the fact that she played a big part in how people look at that so fondly. Like, if she'd have lost and broke her leg, they'd have been like, she's crazy, you know. So the fact that these women at this time are taking, you know, or having the wherewithal to say, look, I'm not okay in this whole situation, and instead of letting it break me down just to entertain you all, you know, let me step away and do something for my own mental health and stuff. So I thought that was dope that she did that. As for the Sha'Carri situation, you know, it's interesting that you brought that up, because one of the things I was going to talk about, I saw 2 of the commercials actually this past week that she's doing with Nike. Very inspirational, very dope. Have you guys seen either of her commercials?
No, I haven't.
You said she busy, Dave. She grinding the shit.
Have you seen it then, Mike? Have you seen her commercials?
I ain't seen this shit either.
Well, they're dope commercials. If you get a chance to look them up on YouTube or anything, and it's just,
I was really irritated. Last I heard, someone had offered her $250,000 to promote their weed brand or whatever, and I was like, I might take that if I was her, because, you know, you're never going to see that as an Olympian unless you're Michael Phelps. You did, right? And, you know, on the flip side, does that mean you have to partake, and you come up with dirty piss tests, and can you get your gold medal in a couple? You know what I mean? So many different things run up to it. So it's like, what was you about to say though?
Well, no, I was just, you know, there's a couple of things that go behind that. I mean, I think that's a great opportunity for her. I don't think you would have to necessarily partake to be the face, you know, you can pretend, you know. Or
just say, what the fuck did you just say that day? You can't. You can't act that. You can't walk on. You're not going.
People act high all the time. You know, actors do it all the time. What's his name to play Smokey? Chris Tucker said he never smoked. I don't know if that's true, but that's what he said. He never smoked on Friday. It was fake. It was, you know, I guess not real weed they were using. And he said, because he said he never smoked. So people play high, and some people do it well. I know intoxication is hard to play as an actor. Like, it's a real fine line. You got to walk with it. Is that right, IO?
Yes. Oh, it is so hard.
Yeah.
So hard.
To do believably, right? It's like some people really knock it out the park, though. I've seen a few people, but I've seen a few people.
My eyes in the next 45 minutes. It's gonna be all the way real. You know?
Okay, that's your acting skills. But before we get into the interview, all right, Mike. Before we get too deep into the interview, there's 2 things I wanted to mention really quickly. The first is the Questlove, the directorial debut, The Summer of Soul, about the Harlem Soul Festival in 1967, I think it was. I might be wrong. I didn't put it in the notes. I don't know why. Anyway,
It was 8.
68, yeah. And I watched it the other night. It's amazing. Quest did a really good job of putting together this footage that was found of this festival that happened the same year as Woodstock. So Woodstock kind of overshadowed it, and this festival kind of was pushed to the wayside. It's a really dope.
It sat in the basement for 50 years.
Right. Yeah. And so, but yeah, it's out now. It's on Hulu. So if you get a chance to check it out, you know, they're not paying us or anything, but I really like it. It was really good.
Did you see it, lady?
No, I gotta check it out. It sounds really good.
Yeah, it really was.
It is First of all, anything from 68 in your brain, you go to black and white.
Mm-hmm.
With this, you get to actually see, man, like Gladys Knight was, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, now she's a beautiful lady, but, you know, she ain't Eartha Kitt. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, but you see her like, and then you see the real Pips, all the original Pips, like, man, and you see why they was the Pips, like man, that thing. I mean, you see Sly and the Family Stone, like, man,
they're doing their thing.
I kind of think I might have been a fan of his too. You know, it's like so.
Yeah. I got some of his stuff. It was really good. Yeah, awesome. It was really well put together, and it was interesting to see. Oh, my bad. What you say, Mike?
No, the visual of all those beautiful people, everybody together. It wasn't, and then the white cops, mad as a motherfucker like this, asshole, puckered up and shit. But you could, they was salty. It's like they all sprinkled in there. I don't know why my eyes found them. I don't know.
But that whole era and the Harlem Renaissance, like I love seeing movies about that.
Yeah. Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it was a beautiful time. And it's so interesting, I was going to say, to see the parallels between what was going on then and what's going on now, and how, like, in certain ways, as a community, we've come so far, but in certain ways, it's things that haven't changed, and it's hard to see if they ever will. Certain things that they talk about, like you know, just the institutionalization of, you know, different neighborhoods and stuff like that, the Black families being broken down, the, you know, unemployment problems, the drug problems, things that were just think
about what would the respectfully, what would the soundtrack be on stage now if all the top acts, top 10, 20, 30 acts got together? At some point in time, we'd have to be singing wet ass, you know, whatever. You know what I mean? I'm not real proud of all that. You dig? I don't know.
Me though. It's
am I wrong for that?
I think they kind of hide all the nice. I don't say nice. They hide all of the. What's the word? I'm trying to not get myself in trouble here.
Uh-oh.
They hide a lot of R&B music, okay? Like Raheem, Tank, all of them. They let it see, like it's a lot of people out, but you don't really hear about it because they try to keep it underground.
Right. And
I just think like nowadays, a lot of people, I don't know if they don't like the music or because it's not popular enough. They don't talk about it in the media. But it's a lot of good music out here.
Yeah. It's like, you're right. It's definitely not as pushed, and you really have to search to find real soul music. I think that's what's missing a lot these days. It's like some music that speaks to your soul. There is some out there, and it's definitely, you know, available if you know where to look or know how to find it. But knowing how to find it is a whole nother thing, because, like you said, what's pushed is it's something completely different. And not saying that it's necessarily bad. I think music is one of those mediums, like all entertainment, where there's room for everything, you know, and everything can be considered entertainment and done, you know, good or done bad. But that music that speaks to you, like those pieces of art, like those, you know, plays, like those movies, that art that really speaks to your soul.
The versus battle is going on right now. It introduces, you know, all kinds of different things to all of, you know, and we're like, hold on, did DMX just really go up against Snoop Dogg? You know what I'm saying? And then did DMX really just pass away? You know, shortly thereafter, like we've been given some good things musically here lately. So yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah. I was speaking of the music. Nas's album is insane too. From what I've been hearing, I only heard a couple of tracks. I want to ask you real quick, IO, who's your favorite artist, like musically? Like, what are you listening to right now?
What am I listening to right now?
Yeah.
Honestly, I listen to a lot of alternative music.
Okay.
Like electronic. I don't know, I'm kind of going through that phase. Like Don Toliver, I like him. I like Alina Baraz. Like I like stuff like that. Something that will give me a nice vibe. Something I can cruise on the road. But lately, I haven't been wanting to hear like all that loud stuff or that sad, you know, slow songs. I just need something where, I drive a lot, so I need something where it's, you know, I'm just cruising and I'm vibing and I'm not really thinking too much. Or if I am thinking, then it's positive thoughts only.
Okay.
Keeping you awake on the road.
Yeah, keep you focused. Right. So with that, let's get into this interview and talk to you a little bit about your journey as an artist. And with that, I want to kind of start from the beginning and where your performance journey began. So I want to talk first of all about, do you remember the first play that you ever saw?
That I ever saw?
Yeah, that you ever went to? No. Okay.
I know the first play I was in.
You were in. That's an important thing.
But saw? No.
Okay.
I I think the first musical I saw was The Color Purple.
Okay.
I'm pretty 100% sure about that. But the first play, no, it's not coming to me now.
I understood. No worries.
But it's not coming to me now.
Okay, and I was just asking that to say to get into the next question, which is for you personally, where the spark for entertainment came from. Like, what in you say that this is something that I want to do, or that I'm actually good at and want to pursue?
I don't even know. Like, when you hear my parents talk about this, they said I was 3 years old in the back seat just singing, and I know in the 4th grade. I was singing ever since I was young. But the 4th grade, my choir director in elementary school had asked if somebody wanted to do a solo. And I don't know why. She's like, yeah, I want to do a solo. And she had gave me
why.
But she gave me Lift Every Voice and Sing. And I was doing that. I did it the 4th grade year and the 5th grade year. And they ended up loving me so much that I did it at, I think, the 6th grade graduation. I was in the 5th grade and I had performed for the 6th grade graduation, Lift Every Voice and Sing. And then that was kind of my go-to song for like all the way up until 8th grade. But I don't even know how it started. I think it was just in me, I don't even, I can't recall a time where I was like, oh, I want to do this. It was just like, I'm doing this. Like, this is what I'm doing.
That's dope. That's dope. So was there anything else like coming up? Was there something like if somebody asked you when you were a kid, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Was there something that you would say?
Singer.
A singer? Okay.
And I wanted to be a singer.
That's dope. Yeah.
It's funny because I had like 1 million Barbie dolls, right? 1 million Barbie dolls. Like, set up this whole Barbie world around my room.
Okay.
And at one point, I was their teacher, so I would give like old papers to like my Barbie dolls, and I would act like I was teaching them. So I don't know. I never told anyone I wanted to be a teacher either, but I was always playing one in my room with my Barbie dolls. So I guess I wanted to be a teacher also, which I did end up being.
Right. Yeah. You ended up doing that too. That's dope. So so you started it. So you said you don't remember exactly how it started, but do you remember when you realized that you had the talent to kind of pursue it professionally?
It's funny you asked that question because I went to Thomas Pullen for middle school, Thomas Pullen Performing Arts Magnet School, for those who don't know, and I had majored in music. Yeah, and so I'm thinking, when I went in there that, the more I keep going to school and studying music, like eventually I'll get to a point where I would do it professionally. But when I went to, I don't know, I think it was a point where I was like, I don't want to sing professionally, but I do want to be in the performing arts professionally. And I realized that in my 11th grade year of high school. And when I was in high school, I was doing a lot of open mic performances. I think a lot of people knew me from that. I was doing a lot of my poetry. My 12th grade year, I had directed the gospel choir there, and I was just doing a lot of like leadership stuff, I guess you could say, with singing in the arts. But yeah, I think the older I got, the more I was just like, I don't know if I want to sing, like just sing professionally, but I know I want to be some type of performer in the arts, whatever that is.
Okay. So yeah, when someone is really good at something, it's always interesting to see who inspires them or who they look up to. In the acting world, like, who is your favorite actor, or who do you really look up to and say that person really nails it every time or something?
Okay, women or male? Because
let's go women first and then men.
Okay, women. Oh, it's two. It's okay. It's Diane Carroll and Viola Davis. And I love Diane. The reason why I have to say both of them is because they kind of have they do have different acting styles. Like, Diane is very more how I say it, it's very more relaxed in a sense where it's not so expressive as Viola Davis when she acts. But Viola Davis, Diane Carroll, everything she does, I think everything she did, rest in peace, everything she did, I think she did a phenomenal job. And I think I just really like the fact that she still carried herself with grace also. And during the time that she was acting, it was just, it was a lot for a Black woman. But Viola Davis, I just think everything she does is just, she goes full force in it. She doesn't care how she looks on camera, she brings it every time. And I listened to her interviews, and her and Cicely Tyson, and they always talk about how, for some reason, well, not for some reason, but Viola Davis, she regrets doing The Help. She regrets taking on that role. Talks about how she really just goes for roles now that, really fills her up, where she feels that it will be impactful to someone in a powerful way, whatever she decides to do. So that's another reason why I just love Viola Davis as an actor, as a person, as an artist, the whole shebang. The male would have to be Johnny Depp. I love Johnny Depp. As people may think he's crazy, but it's an art to that craziness. Like, I don't think a lot of people realize, like, a lot of us actors are crazy in general. Like, like when deep inside, like we're crazy, especially if like you're really freaking good, like Johnny Depp.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And it's a process when you play those characters in general, and you have to kind of sometimes separate yourself from people, and to really go into that world. Like he brings it. He definitely does it. I know it's this whole controversy that's happening right now in the media with him, but at the end of the day, as an actor, like he brings it. Like when you see whoever he plays, you don't see Johnny Depp, you see that person, and that's what it makes him different from everybody else.
Definitely.
That'd be a hell of a movie.
What's that?
Johnny Depp, Diane Carroll, Viola Davis.
You gonna write the movie for him? You gonna put the script together?
Pirates of the Caribbean Part 19.
Diane Carroll back as a ghost. They would use her hologram.
They would have to use right. So and we talked about your favorite actor. So of course I have to ask if you have a favorite. And I think we talked about this at Ben's Chili Bowl when we were filming the movie that we filmed, Frozen Yogurt. I'm about to say brown sugar. Frozen Yogurt. But yeah, we talked a little bit about favorite movies. I went around and was asking people. So do you have a favorite movie?
Did you ask me that? I know you was talking to everyone else. Did you get to me about that? Did I ever answer
Did I not ask you? I feel like I might have. I don't, but like I said, my memory is terrible.
Yeah. Oh no, I did. You guys is cracking jokes on me because I said my favorite movie was Pocahontas.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That's all right. Hey, what's your favorite movie, Dave?
I have like a number of them, but
top three.
Probably Pulp Fiction. I
know why, Dave. I know why.
Anyway, a movie called Children of Men with Clive Owens, and what else? Something just real silly, funny, like Anchorman or something like that, because I like to laugh. So, what about you, Mike?
My top three favorite movies are Forrest Gump, Lion King, and Malcolm X.
That's an eclectic mix. That's crazy. And so we did top three, IO. So now you got to give us two more.
Two more? Okay. I'm going to say Selma, Lord Selma. Thought with Angelina Jolie.
Oh, Thought. Yeah. Wow.
Thought.
Yeah.
THOUGHT, right?
Thought.
Not thought, not THOT, not
Thought.
Diana. I got you. All right.
Oh, anyway, but yeah, it's a real eclectic mix. Like I said, it's surprising that y'all are so deep. No, I'm just
you said Lion King, Dave. That's not deep.
Well, no, the story itself is like an amazing story, and it's been told a couple of different ways. But it was.
I think for me, it was just the music.
Okay.
By the kids and stuff.
Or the new one.
Not the new one's all right. I'm talking about the original joint.
Okay.
It's a really.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
There's a lot of symbolism in it.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
Can I add one?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Titanic. Love.
Yeah.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah. Titanic was actually pretty good.
The suspense killed the shit out of me. 3.5 hours to sink this big ass ship. Look, just get this. I already know it's gonna sink.
And that's what happened. Like I thought it. Like I was looking at it like that, but then
DiCaprio pulls it off.
But then, yeah, watching it, it's like this is actually pretty well done. Like
DiCaprio, you know, that's a hell of an actor right there too.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Leonardo, he's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's dope. Definitely. So, watching you as an actress or as an actor, excuse me, it was something. It was a great experience for me. I would say, like, in the role of Symbol, and then also like so when we did the studio session with D'Amico, shout out to D'Amico Star, and you did the monologue from the beginning. And you know, it's an emotional monologue, and so halfway through it, you started to actually cry. And I looked over to D'Amico and said, "Oh, she's an actor. Like she's not playing with him, you know. Like you like turned it on, but that emotion and to be able to emote like that is something I think that's essential to all great actors." How do you like? So I want to say something as simple as like, how do you do it? But I don't want to be that simple. But like, where does that come from?
Honestly, I just put myself in the character's shoes, and I think about what I'm saying. I think about what happened prior to me saying what I'm saying in that moment, and how I want whoever I'm speaking to, however I want them to respond. And it just comes. I don't force it. It just comes, and when it comes, I just let it come. I do sometimes. I feel like I can tell when it's like going to be a little bit too overboard. Like I don't need to be bawling on this microphone. I don't need to be boo-hooing on the camera. You know, I think that's a little bit too much. So I may pull back a little bit. Like IO, she'll pull back a little bit, but as when they come, the tears, it just comes, you know.
It's so
and it takes a while too after to kind of fall back from it, because it's like, all of this just pain or emotion or happiness or whatever that caused me to respond in that type of way. I need to kind of bring it back a little bit, because it's a lot of emotions to carry. And when I snap out of it and I'm, back with everyone else, back in the real world, I kind of just have to take a couple deep breaths, okay, we did that. But I just wrapped with a project in March where I had to really break down crying a couple of times. I think we had to do that about over 20 times.
Oh, wow.
Because in the story, pretty much my husband is walking out on me and his children. And it's just a really, it's a really emotional scene. And every time it just came differently every time, the tears. Some tears I would be just like, God, I was really, really feel it. And I could hardly stand straight. Like my husband is walking out on me and his kids, and he, and I don't know why.
Right.
So sometimes I couldn't stand. And then some moments I could, but it would be just snot coming down, like whatever. And I just let the character do what she needs to do. Like, you know what? I'm gonna take a back seat. Whatever you want to do right now at this moment, go ahead, girl, do it.
That was necessary. So
that's deep. So you talked about that that transition, kind of coming back to reality from being, from embodying a character. And so when you play a character in a role like what you just described, where there's a number of scenes. It's a very emotional, a ride that you go on. What are some of the things that you do when you're done with that to kind of decompress and release that energy so that you can get back to being IO?
Well, the breaths, I take a lot of deep breaths. Sometimes I may have to, separate myself and like go for a walk, get a little snack or something. But yeah, just kind of really remove myself from everybody. Just like I need a moment, let me just go to the side. It depends on how intense it is, but yeah. Because I think, I don't know if you noticed, but when we was in the studio, I still just, right after, I still was just like, okay, let me just, side. Yeah. Bring it back down again.
yeah. He took a moment and like just wiped the tears away, and you're like, okay, let's.
Yeah, but how do you muster up the energy to do something 20 times? Like are you telling me the same situation, same scene 20 times?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they need
different. That's like trying to urinate. You go to the bathroom 20 times in a row. Go ahead.
I ain't got the worst analogies, but go ahead, IO.
It's not worse because you ain't got so much tears and pee. Shit. Think about it.
I don't know.
How long can you stand there and let it stream down your face? I ain't got but so many. I got a lot for you, but I don't know. So I guess it's amazing. I guess you said it comes out differently each time. So, Yeah, and I guess that's what they're looking for. That's what I want to know. So when you guys are, both you guys are on set and whether you're getting a check or not, well, specifically if you're getting a check, you're working. How many times do you guys do this shit before, y'all go home? Like, I mean, I've heard some people, or I don't know if it's a director or individual who runs it, got to have 25, 30 takes on something. Like,
you do it as much as it takes, right? I mean, it's like I did background work with House of Cards, and David Fincher was the director, and he's notorious for like a whole bunch of takes, and he would do stuff until he got the take he was looking for, and even some after. And so if that was 20, if that was 30 or 40, he would do it, and we would be there. You just do it, right? I mean, I don't think it's
so the key is the director.
Yeah, right, IO? I mean, that's kind of do what they want.
Yeah, they'll just do it 2 takes, and then they'll just switch the camera angle. And see, that makes me worry. Like if you're only doing 2, 3, I mean, it depends on what's happening. Like I think everyone in the room can tell, like, okay, these were some good takes. But if it wasn't, and the director's just like, okay, we're moving on, then that makes, because I'm like, I'd rather like quality. Like, I'm not just some actor coming on here, doing these lines because, you gave it to me. Like, I want it to be just as good as you do.
Right. Yeah, as close to the vision as possible. And yeah,
you guys find it hard to tap into that vision that you're speaking of? Like, because if it's not your vision, you're trying to tap into somebody else's vision. Dave sent me some skits, and I expressed to him how I appreciated him, in parentheses, saying what the individual was doing before they said whatever was going on. So somebody's waiting there and patiently or impatiently waiting for something, and then they say something, and the way he wrote it was as if that's what he wants you to. He wants to see you do on film, and I appreciate that. Is that hard to tap into?
Yeah, I do like when they I do like when it is very clear in the script. But I know sometimes some directors, they do give like free will, which is also kind of, I don't know. I like a good balance, Like I like when clear, but not like so detailed where it's like I feel like I'm acting.
Right.
Give you your vision.
Right. Yeah. You gotta have freedom to create the vision around, because that's how art flows. Like, it's not something that's too structured or too thought about. Art is organic. Michael Jackson said that, and I don't know if that's the best person to quote, but he's dope. And but yeah, he was talking about how like if you start to think about it too much, you put yourself into the process, and it's no longer art. Art is a direct connection between you and he said God, but whatever deity you
God,
believe.
not Michael though. No, I don't want to connect him. I don't want to connect to Michael.
All right, anyway, but yeah, but yeah, I think that's it has to flow to a certain extent. So that openness is good, but also when the director has a vision or the writer has a vision, it's good to be specific about it. All right, Mike, I ain't even.
You should have said Michael Jackson. You said that openness is not good. No, Michael Jackson. No.
Anyway, the jokes. But anyway,
Cancel. That's a serious question.
Say what?
Michael Jackson, is he canceled?
You're not canceled.
Nah.
You cancel, Mike. First of all, the whole thought process to cancel somebody, I thought that any exposure and any attention was good attention for whatever brand. If the brand is being noticed good or bad, if the brand is being noticed good or bad, and you're relevant,
as Jared from Subway, nigga, that's not
brand,
true.
Negative or positive, I'm gonna say one brand that's negative or positive is relevant. You ready? Ready for my brand? Trump. He's remained. Unfortunately, he's extremely relevant. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and it's a brand.
I mean,
so anyway,
no,
that's all.
But yeah, it's not. But as for Michael Jackson,
he's not.
One of the reasons I have that conversation on here so much is because I think that it is definitely not only something that you're able to do, but it's necessary in certain situations to separate the art from the artist. Just because that art is something that's here for us. It's something that was delivered. Like I said, it's a direct connection and something that it was a message that was given to us through the artist, as opposed to a product or something that they may have specifically, engineered and has anything to do with whatever they did. So, I don't think he's canceled.
A lot of us are just, we're weird. We got a lot of mess going on. I think if people really knew what was going on in our lives, a lot of people may or may not like us.
Right.
They make a reality show about it.
Yeah, I think we kind of in a dangerous time because we get into a situation where people feel so comfortable imparting their own beliefs and thoughts and ideas on other people, as opposed to allowing them to have their own, ideas and thoughts and beliefs. And so I've seen situations where artists that I know who have like huge followings may have made a remark. And without saying any names, it was about the Bill Cosby situation, and a young lady who's gaining a lot of popularity right now posted that she had met Bill Cosby. And all she said was, when I met him, he was extremely polite to me and my mother. And it was a great experience meeting him. And she got so much negative backlash. Like, people start calling her a rape sympathizer and all this stuff. She's like, all I said was, when I just never gave an opinion about what he did or didn't do. But, I think that we're getting to a point where everything's so divided that people start to see it as, if you don't believe exactly what I believe, then you're the enemy. And that's never been a good place to be in. So I'm a little worried about like where we're going with
You're right when you say that, because when you're an adversary, you feel like that it's the enemy. They're not always the enemy. You don't have to agree. You don't have to agree. You're right. What do you want to say, Io?
Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. It's just. I'll just leave it alone.
Right. So deep. Right. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just really the whole, following train in general, not just, outside of how people view artists, but just in general, how we're so quick to follow one belief and opinion and make it the end all that be all. Like, no, I've never, ever in my life, well, I don't know, maybe back in high school, this is high school, but I never, ever in my life was no follower. Like, I don't like, I need to do research for myself, develop my own opinions. And like I said, I just think if people really knew all the artists or actors or musicians that's out here in the world, if they really knew who that person is, would they still, would they still feel the same way, since we always put in the art before the artist?
Yeah.
I used to say that about my stuff as well. I don't want to be a follower. But I think what happened was, I decided to be a follower of conscious leaders. And the way I could recognize them was their consciousness, what they speak to. did they speak to the have not and or the individuals that have? If it's, based on class, white, black, purple, green, whatever. It's tough. It's tough because it's deep. It's deep. It's real deep. It's blowing my high. That's how deep the shit is.
But so yeah, with that said, let's get back to this interview. So I want to talk to you about. You said what?
It's a lot of people, that post pictures with celebrities, and I'm not defending Bill Cosby at all for what he did. But just as far as the young lady who had posted the picture and had made the comment, it's a lot of us who are posting pictures with celebrities, but we don't know what that celebrity is indoors. Are we going to, attack? If somebody posts a picture up of, let me just make up a teddy bear, somebody posts a picture up with a teddy bear, and later on in life it's revealed that a teddy bear has done the worst possible crime you could ever think of.
Right.
Go back on that person's page and attack them for posting a picture with a teddy bear.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's what it seems like it's going to, but I definitely, the separating the art and more importantly the art or the impact that that artist has had to you from their deeds. It's like, and that's something that we have to do with like family members, with like people who are close to us regularly. But everybody's not always going to do something that you agree with, and so but we seem to put artists on a certain pedestal, and so if they tarnish that image in any way, like I said, it's a dangerous space to be in. And I just worry about like what the outcome is going to be. But for me personally, I try to just enjoy the art that they provided. And, as to them, if they did something I don't agree with, I just don't support them or that thing. But the art might still be quality art, And so that's how I see it. But yeah, I want to talk to you about acting, man. Come on. No. So I did want to ask you, like, performances. Do you have a standout performance in your opinion, something that you're really like, I nailed this one, like this is my my opus, this is my the pinnacle? Like, do you have that piece?
Opus. That's a good word.
I do have and it's no video, no footage or nothing. It was when I did for Color Girls.
Okay.
And there was I don't think there's any video. A lot of theater productions, they do film, but as far as getting that footage back,
it doesn't. Yeah, right.
Stage. But for Color Girls, I just wish so many people had just came out to see that production at the time. Whew, that is definitely that has been my best work. Okay. And I portrayed the lady in blue. So the lady had the rape monologue, the sorry monologue, the abortion monologue, and the prom monologue in the beginning, where she's pretty much just talking about her experience of losing her virginity. Mm-hmm. So she has a lot of powerful, pieces in the whole Cure poem from Ntozake Shange. So right. I'm very thankful that I was given the opportunity to tell those stories. But yeah, that is definitely, I think, my best work.
That's the one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And on the flip side of that, do you have any like that you really like? Oh, I could have did that a lot better. Like,
Of course.
Yeah. And I know, there's a reason I asked that though, because everybody has those, and I think it helps to build character, it helps to build professionalism. It helps you to analyze yourself and look at what you need to work on, things like that. But I do want to ask you, in that same vein, like for what we talked about from doing like really emotional pieces and how you decompress from it. So in sports, they have something called having a short memory. And so like if you make a mistake on the field, on the court, sometimes it can stay with you and it affects how you play for the next play. Yeah, the next play. So they say you have to have a short memory. Move on. You did it, now move on. And so when you have those roles that don't go the way you want it, or those performances that don't go the way you want it, is there a process to kind of shaking it off, or is it just like have a short memory, get right back in there and do it again? Like how does that work?
I'm still trying to figure that out. Because I am low-key a perfectionist and I can be extremely hard on myself. Like when I know I messed up, I'll hold that for like 2-3 days.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
so I need to work on that.
Yeah.
I need to put that short memory, training into my system. Just like when I'm in the zone and, I may have an emotional piece and I have to take those deep breaths and get back to reality. Like it's easy then. When I mess up,
Yeah.
it bothers me. I'm a perfectionist. I can't stand it.
I think that I use that analogy because it helped me a lot because I'm kind of like that too. But every scene, every word that you utter as an actor is another opportunity to nail it. And so that short memory is imperative, like, moving on. And it's a balance though between letting it go and also holding on to, okay, so this is what I need to do better next time, and so, and I think you obviously nailed that because like every time I've seen you, it's been dope. So so yeah, so you obviously have some understanding of that balance and moving on, because I've definitely seen actors who hold on to that negative, moment and it affects how they perform in the future. But
is it important for you all to get along off camera? Is it important for a rapport to be established before you go on camera and go on set?
I think there definitely has to be a safe space for sure. Like I've worked with an actor and we couldn't stand one another. And at one point it was really bad. We was arguing, backstage during the middle of the show.
Wow.
About what? About what? Give us the dirt. The dirt.
I could not. I just couldn't stand him. And he was just very arrogant, just very cocky. And he was new to the game. And for someone to be so cocky when you're just stepping into the world, it's kind of like humble yourself a little bit. Like, like you just starting out, you shouldn't be this cocky. I mean, you should be cocky in general.
You ain't have a pin to pop his little balloon?
And I don't know, me and him, we're both Sagittarius, so we was like,
wow.
going at it. But on stage, that was my lover. We kissed one another, but literally we would go backstage and just like.
So do you think it affected the chemistry at all on stage, or did you guys nail it, or how, or maybe help it?
I'm not gonna bring that on stage with me. I don't know if he did, but I'm not. Yes, that was his first time. I don't know if that was his first acting project, but that was definitely his first stage. And he had the mistake of bringing in his girlfriend during the rehearsal process, during the scene where we have to do a simulated set scene and we have to kiss. So he was very uncomfortable. And
that probably made you uncomfortable as hell. It made her uncomfortable, makes everybody uncomfortable. That's awkward.
Yeah, and during the process, it shouldn't be nobody outside of whoever is part of that process in there.
Did he introduce her? Like he said, "Hey, everybody's my girl."
He did, but he was very uncomfortable with going about these things. And I'm just like, listen, I don't want to kiss you either, but it's in this.
This is the real question. Was he uncomfortable when she wasn't there?
Yeah, he was. Yep.
Maybe you loved her.
I mean, that's
maybe he's an excellent actor. Who knows?
The thing is, like, a lot of us actors, like, some of us are married, madly in love with people, but when we're in that moment, like, we accepted that role. Beforehand that we had to do, it was like they'll give you a heads up. This role requires kissing or touching or all that stuff. Like we accepted the role, knowing what we got ourselves into, and it's at that moment we're not ourselves. We're the people in the story, so we have to put ourselves in mind. And we just the whole marriage and partners and being an actor thing is a little difficult because it's hard for our partners to handle that. They see us on stage kissing somebody else or touching somebody else and they think it's real life, but it's not.
No. On stage, I honestly can wrap my mind around it. I've actually also had a couple of stripper girlfriends, so it's like, but
It's a little personal,
honestly,
Mike.
no, but it's the truth. It's like, if it were a private dance, I would feel some type of way. But this is for everybody to see. It's all right. Make your money, baby. It is what it is.
And I don't know if that's a good parallel, but anyway, but yeah, you do have to separate the two,
I mean, it's not like it's private. It's 400 cameramen. It's a makeup person. I mean, I can imagine what a set is like. It's like a one-on-one off in the cove somewhere. It's business. This is business.
Or on stage, like it's an audience sitting there. There's a whole bunch of people
enough to be on stage. I can imagine.
Yeah. But I do know some actors. I'm not even gonna lie. I know some actors who do try to do some things, off stage, try to develop some, connection.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay.
But some do it to, actually get a better understanding of the characters. But some do it because they actually do kind of, they fell too deep into the world and they actually did fall for the person that they're
Yeah, that definitely happens.
Yeah, it does happen.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's
Johnny Depp is on set.
Huh?
If Johnny Depp is on set, that's your cohort.
Your love interest in it.
It is. I mean, it is what it is, right?
I'm not attracted to Johnny Depp at all, but in that moment, I will be. Come here, Johnny.
Right. Right. So, but I love these little glimpses into the world of acting. I always say, like, people, because I haven't done. I might have mentioned this to you. I haven't done any stage acting. Like, I've only done a couple of TV shows and commercials and things. Like, stage acting is like, it's such another level of professionalism. I don't know. It's like you're like a superhero to me. Like, to stand up in front of, like, you can, when you're on the set with cameras and stuff, you can cut and do it again and try it again and get the right angle and get the right, everything. But when you're on the stage, even though you rehearse, I know tirelessly, it's like once you're out there and you're doing it, it's no do-over. It's no, you right there and you get the response immediately. And that scares the hell out of me, honestly. So it's dope that you're able to do it at such a high level and so well. But I do want to have another glimpse into that world. So it's opening night of a play that you're in. It's 5 minutes before curtain call, before the curtain goes up and the show starts. What's going through your mind? Like, what are you doing? What's happening?
I'm getting into that world. I get really nervous, like right before I'm about to walk on stage. It's like, I don't know, I get so much anxiety. I start shaking and it's just like, calm down. And it happens every night. It doesn't matter if I've been doing the show for 3 months, 6 months, every time before I'm about to walk on stage, I get so nervous. But as soon as I'm on stage, it's gone.
It's gone. Yeah, that's dope. That's that, I always say, because, I came from like the music world. And so the same thing with like performing anything. And even, I've done a little stand-up comedy, and it's that irrational fear right before you go on, like, oh man, what if I like poop and pass out or something?
It's not irrational. It's very rational.
But at the end of the day, if you practice
right now,
that's true. But you practice that stuff out. What'd you say, IO? I'm sorry.
I always get gas before I'm about to walk on stage. Always. I told it. I always get gas. It's the weirdest thing.
You get the nervous boots. Everybody gets it. Hey, that backstage is, it's not a nice place to, it's a comedy.
5 minutes before the show.
Everybody's letting go. So, because let's see here. I have notes because I wanted to make sure this was dope because you're an extremely dope artist, and wanted to be, serious with what I talked to you about. So you've had an opportunity to work with a lot of directors. What, in your opinion, makes a really good director?
In my opinion, it makes a really good director is someone who guides. I've worked with directors who tell you what to do, and a director, when I went to school, I was trained that directors are supposed to, guide. They're supposed to ask questions to help you better understand your character, your world. They're not supposed to tell you what it is. Right. If they help, I love the directors that I worked with who helped me figure that out on my own. And by helping me figure it out on my own, I can portray the role better because I went through that process. I understand why I feel the way about my sister, or I understand why I want to go make this particular dish today. You know, it's little things like that instead of me just, okay, you're going to go in the kitchen, you're going to get some cereal, but why? Why did I choose cereal over eggs? You know, why did my character in particular choose cereal over eggs? And I like directors who kind of like guide us through that process to figure everything out, because in the real world, us as people, like, we know why we do the things that we do, you know, even if we don't want to admit it, we know why I'm going to, you know, before I go to sleep, I think about how, okay, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna have this, you know, because I didn't eat this today. Like, we know those things, and it's not always given in the script. Right. So as the actor, we have to go through that process to figure those little things out that's not mentioned in the script. And some directors are just like, do this, do this, do this. And I don't understand why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right, right.
I thought it was a fat thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I go to sleep, I think about the steak and cheese and the chicken stuff I'm eating the next morning. I thought it was just me. I'm glad it's not just me.
No, I do it all the time. When I go to sleep, I think about the whole day.
I'm gonna have an omelet. Like, I understand.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have the motivation. But the reason I asked that question though is because in 2014 you had your directorial debut, a piece called Spin. That was a pretty controversial piece. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Why? What made it controversial?
Well, go ahead. Yeah.
So Spin, it talks about the reason. I don't think I've ever. Oh, I can't really reveal it. I can't really reveal why it was controversial.
Okay, yeah, because yeah.
The spin is the controversy happens with the spin, but the thing, we never finished that project, and I am really cool with a lot of that was my first thing, trying out the whole directing film and all of that. So we completed filming the shots and everything. We just never finished the editing, and it's because it was a lot of issues that happened with the production team. It was definitely a thing, not the actors, but a lot of the actors do ask me that question every now and then. Hey, when are you going to finish Spin? Like, when are you going to release it? I'm like, you know what, at this point, looking back at the script, I feel like what I wrote it doesn't sit well with the person that I am today. So what I want to do is I want to rewrite it, and I want to do it all over, because I feel it's so controversial. I don't like it. And,
okay.
And I just don't.
Rather intriguing. Rather intriguing.
We're gonna, after we get off the air, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna figure out what Spin is.
Why?
No, but I'm just joking.
Oh, what the?
Anyway, Mike. But
give me the gist of what it's about. No, I'm curious now. No.
Well, we'll talk about it after, because she said, it's something that we don't want to. But
it's very.
Right, it must have been a lot. But
there's something to do with animals, Dave. As long as it has to do with animals.
I don't know what is
okay,
it was IO's. Anyway. Moving on, but you being in plays like For Color Girls and Color Purple, and then work on some of the projects that you've done, and like Spin, for instance, you talked about the controversy in it, and it shows that you don't have, and I talked about this a little bit before, that you're definitely not averse to kind of wading into deeper projects and into things that might have that controversy around them. Is that something that you look for in the roles that you take or in the projects that you take on? Is a certain level of controversy?
Yeah, like I need something that's going to really spark some type of attention or awareness, something like. a lot of the I've seen a lot of casting calls for works that are just very safe. And I don't like playing things safe. Like, I don't I think the ones that are safe are the ones that kind of get overlooked a lot. I like to do projects and especially write things that a lot of people feel some type of way about. Because I want to hear what you have to say. Like, this is why I wrote it, because I want to open the door to have those conversations. And a lot of times I think I'm the type of person who sees things in a different perspective than 70% of society sees it. So I'm going to write it in a way where I kind of challenge that 70% to look at things in a different perspective. Just try, because, a lot of times people are already stuck in their own head, especially if mostly everybody is doing it. We was talking about this earlier. So I kind of like showing things in a different perspective to people, to just think, if things was this way, or think about it, look at it from this perspective, So I like
the goal is to get that 30% that sees it the way you see it, to get that other 70% to, be a little bit more intrigued and say, hey, what's this about? And that's how you get everybody to sit down and watch and break bread and maybe even converse and move forward with whatever discussion it is, if it's something controversial or not. I always I like pushing the envelope on everything, because it's simple to say. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I care about love, life, and my family and whatnot. But I don't care about being politically correct and or how I come across, because if you don't know me, you don't know me, and I'm all right with that. It is what it is, and I think that's tough, because here we on a podcast, we're talking. Well, I'm not acting. I would like to try to be an actor. I know that I could get into some things, but I will also be a complete asshole, because once I tell you I'm done, I'm done.
Yeah,
done.
Your acting career is coming, man. It's coming.
Done.
But
done. I'm not a diva or anything, but I'm not. And also, I don't know. You hear about this thing where we're not supposed to play females. We're not supposed to put a dress on, right? Mm-hmm. And then you got that whole conversation. Well, how you guys feel about that?
I will say this a little bit. It is a lot of that's talked about in Spin.
Okay.
I didn't know.
Getting closer. We're getting closer to the topic of what Spin is about now.
Yeah, that is one of the topics of conversation.
Okay.
But I don't understand why everyone always has something to say about something. It's better to do with your lives. You're just going to find every little thing to nitpick. A man can't wear a dress. A woman can't. It's a lot of people who feel some type of way about women who have very low cuts, or they're walking around with the nice, beautiful ball looks, which I think is gorgeous. I wish I could pull that off. I think my head's too big. But
I know what you mean.
Always has something to say.
Yeah.
I embraced Tyler Perry because the Medea character was a female that I could relate to, and just happened to be a male. I mean, it wasn't the cross-dressing. It was hilarious and real, and it really is. So I don't know. Dave, we're gonna put dresses on next week.
What'd you say?
You should. You guys should do it.
She would say that. You see what I'm saying? She would. You write that script for me right now, and get.
Like you can do it. I mean, and I kind of feel like. I kind of feel like people should be able to do, especially acting. I think that there's just good acting and bad acting. So if you're doing it poorly, then that's one thing. But if you committed to the character and doing what you're supposed to do as an actor, I think that you should be able to embody any role, that you're given. With that same token, it's certain things that I as an actor would probably wouldn't do, or would kind of shy away from.
You have an example, Dave.
In that same token.
You said weren't you involved in a crazy situation where you weren't given a script. It was a real vague script, and you come to find out it was some blood sucking.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't blood sucking. It was it was just I was auditioning for a role, and it was just something that the premise was a little too.
He don't like being put on the spot. He don't like it at all.
I don't mind.
He would ask everybody.
I just want to say the right words. You know, like you want to formulate.
Man, say the word, Dave. Say the word.
Anyway,
Dave.
It was the premise was a little far fetched, and it was outside of something that I would feel comfortable portraying. So I didn't take the role. That's all. That's the politically correct.
We're going past Will Smith's 6 degrees of separation. We're going past all that.
Yeah, it was a little out there, but yeah, I mean, but my personal feeling toward it is like you should, if you feel like you can portray the role well, do it. You know, go for it. More power to you, definitely, as an actor, right? I mean, you should do it, right? IO, like you should go for it.
Yeah, like with the whole Tiffany Haddish situation, I know a lot of people don't like that she's doing FloJo, and I don't know if it's because
I didn't even know she was
really
at it.
Yeah.
FloJo?
Yeah, they're doing a movie about FloJo.
She can do it.
Yeah, I think so.
Anybody that can make you laugh can make you cry. Understand that.
Yeah.
Right, and at the end of the day, she's an actor. Like that's what we do.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm excited
female
to see
comedian, that in and of itself is hard. I mean, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, comedy is hard. I try to stay away from it. I mean, I've done some recent comedic roles, but
okay.
Why do you stay away from it?
I don't want to be a comedic actor.
I got you. It's not your wheelhouse, or
yeah, I just want to tell stories that that hit home. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't want his songs to make you cry. You want his stories to make you cry.
Yes.
I was gonna ask that question because I noticed she was like, I don't want to hear none of that.
Right.
I think I'm so weird. I ain't listening and shit. I be listening, babe.
Yeah.
But what you say, IO though? Like,
I said you can keep them songs.
But you'll play the part though in the role.
Right. I'll play a part. I'll watch a movie that'll make me cry.
Right. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you in 2017, some Soil for the Soul premiered at the Manhattan Repertory Theater, excuse me, and has received a couple of awards. And that's a piece that you so you wrote and directed it, or?
Yes, I wrote and directed the piece at Manhattan Repertory Theater, and then it was a couple festivals, and I directed it there, and it was performed in London, and they had a director in London direct it, and I had just I flew over to see how everything had turned out.
That's
awesome.
Yeah. It's had 2 directors. But that's my baby. Like I'm working.
Yeah, I was wondering, you created something and 2 other individuals picked it up. That speaks volumes to what you put out forward. The word bird, all right. I mean, what came from you. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really trying to figure out where I can take it next because I want to expand it. I'm just trying to figure out how exactly, but it needs some oomph, and I haven't figured that out yet. And I don't want to force the words to come. Like I just want to wake up one day and I'm like, oh, this is it. I know what to do. So I'm trying to force it. I'm gonna let it come, when it comes. But
how long you guys been writing? Ever since I've known Dave for a couple of decades now, he's always been writing. How long have you been writing?
Ooh, all my life, I guess. But as far as scripts,
you know what you sound like all my life, I know.
The color. She was in The Color Purple too.
I know, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Work with me, Dave. Woo.
Anyway, go ahead, IO. What were you saying? Don't pay no attention to Mike. Go ahead.
No, as far as the scripts, college. I participated in a playwriting festival, a 48-hour playwriting festival at Oregon. And
2 days.
Yep, 2 days. 2 days. And I did it. I wrote it, and it was performed. And my artistic director, she pulled me to the side and she said, I think you really should consider, writing professionally. She said, I know you're here for, theater arts, but I think the writing is really going to take you far. And until she passed away last year, but until her death, she always just kept asking me, yeah, but are you writing? Like I went to visit her sometimes. I was like, yeah, I'm teaching theater. She was like, but are you writing? Like, yeah.
I love people who do that to me, who remind me of my passion. I appreciate that.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
It means they heard me.
Yeah, and they saw something in you.
Yeah, to this day, I guess I'm still trying to figure out where to go with playwriting per se, because she definitely really pushed that on me. And sometimes, to this day, I feel like I can just sense her spirit around when I have a lot of questions about what I'm doing with my career, and I can just feel her. Sometimes she would come in my dreams. So, but I'm still just have questions like, I don't know where to go with playwriting. That's a whole, acting is one thing, but being a full-time playwright, that's a whole nother ball game.
Right.
You gotta live some more, that's all.
That too.
Yeah,
and that's why I had stopped teaching, because I love teaching, and I'm going to do it again, but definitely later on in life. But I feel like I just needed more experience with theater and acting. Right. Now it's time to go out and do it, but
what did you teach? What did you teach?
5th through 12th grade theater.
I love when interviews kind of flow into because that was my next question about teaching.
Whoa. What? 6th through 12th grade?
It was a performance.
You did that on purpose?
Yeah.
People
my children are in middle school right now, and they were all on accident. No, it's just like, no, man, that's crazy. That's awesome. So how long did you do it?
2 years.
You sound like you miss it.
I do.
Okay.
I do. I still with a lot of my former students.
Yeah.
Are in college now, but I still keep up with a lot of them.
That's great.
What did you say?
Some of them are in college now.
Some of what are in college?
My students. I'm a former student.
All right. What's the really?
Yeah.
She's like about 15 days. Like seriously. It's college students, Dave.
Hey, look,
That's awesome.
She was teaching when she was 9. That's what it was.
No, when I had
left Barbie
Morgan.
Dolls. Barbie dolls, yeah.
Yeah, I started teaching right when I left Morgan. I was teaching honors English at Baltimore School for the Arts, and then I started teaching theater arts.
That's nice. That's dope. So with teaching, like what was the biggest lesson that teaching taught you?
Oh, so many lessons. The biggest lesson. The biggest is that
or the most impactful, the one that stays with you the most, like something that really stood out to you that you maybe didn't know.
The one that really stood out to me that my students made me realize is that the reason why a lot of them act out is because they feel like they're not being heard. And they, after the first month, and just paying attention to how a lot of teachers respond, like, sit down, do this, da, 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 da. And they still come back and do the same thing that they was doing yesterday. But I had caught, they want to, like, for some reason, whatever is going on in their life, they feel like they're just not being heard, they're not being understood in some type of way. So I started developing the relationship I had with a lot of my former students. They would make me upset. Yeah, sometimes I did have to tell them to leave, but I would talk to them after school. I would talk to them during lunch, and I really got to understand who they was. A lot of situations that they were going through, and I was teaching them in West Baltimore, so they were going. The students I was teaching in particular was just going through a lot of stuff at home. And to just to feel safe to talk with someone and they didn't feel judged. That's all they really, I mean, of course they wanted more, but at that moment, in that environment, you know, that was really needed for them. So that's one thing that they really taught me. They taught me how to listen.
That's dope. Wow. Yeah. So in that same vein, for acting or entertainment overall, if you could sum up one piece of advice, like what's the best piece of advice you've ever gotten, you know, in the realm of acting or entertainment?
The best piece of advice I ever gotten. It's about to sound so cliche.
Right.
You know, I got that from Dave.
right, yeah.
But yeah, just keep going. Like, be consistent in it. I know a lot of times, it's a lot of messages coming up to me right now. Be consistent. Do your own research. It's not going to come easy. Like, acting is the 24/7 job. Like, you could have a big role one day and not get work for a while. Like, just keep going and don't listen to what anyone else has to say about your journey or your process, because everyone is always going to have something to say at the end of the day. And as artists, people just feel some type of way about people pursuing their passions. I don't know why, but it's just a crazy thought to them. Like, oh my God, you're living a life pursuing your passion. Why? So just my advice to people is just to keep going and be consistent. Like, when it looks like you're not getting anywhere, that's when you're really getting close to your blessing. When it looks like it's just pitch dark and you just can't see the light, it doesn't mean that the light's not coming. It's there. You just have to keep walking through the tunnel. If you go back, then you're never going to see if the light was there.
Right. Yeah. You hear that, Mike? That's wisdom. We call that wisdom.
All I heard was before she see the light, she go out there, she poops. That's all I heard.
Yes. But yeah, that's dope advice, man. It's great to follow. So we're coming to the end of it. It's about 8:30, but there are two questions that I always ask all of my guests. I always enjoy the answers that I get. They're kind of introspective. I'm going to ask them of you right now. So the first one is, if you had an opportunity to talk to a younger version of yourself, like let's say a 12-year-old IO Browne, if with everything you've been through, all the wisdom you've gained in your life up until this point, if you could go in a time machine and go back and have a conversation with that little girl, what would that conversation be like? What would you say to her?
I would tell that little girl that you are rare, you are powerful. There's literally no one in the world that's like you, and you're needed. Your voice is needed. And even when you sometimes feel like others push that voice aside, they're listening. They're listening, and you're hitting the people that, you know, that needs to be hit.
All right now.
That's dope. Yeah. And the other question is, so you've done commercials, you've done a lot of theater performances. You're constantly in a situation where there are a lot of eyes on you, where a lot of people are looking at IO Browne. When people see IO Browne, what is it that you hope they see?
I hope they see that I am, well, okay. Are we talking about the actor or me, the person?
You, the person.
Me, the person, I really just want them to see that I am, I just have so much positive, you know, light that I just really want to give to the world. I really just want to inspire people, whether it's on stage or off stage. And I really hope that in my conversations with people that I inspired them in some type of way, or made them smile, or just made them feel good, even if I didn't say anything at all. And it was just, you know, my presence in general. I just want to have such a nice, positive, radiant light when, you know, I'm around people, or when I interact with people, whether it's, you know, through technology or in person. I really just want them to leave feeling like I really just made them smile or feel just great. And then, you know, for whatever reason, you know.
Yeah, you definitely do that. Like, and meeting you and coming to know you, your light is bright and beautiful. It's vibrant, is the word I would use to describe it. It's instantaneous and obvious. You do a really good job
Thank you.
At emoting that light. And so it's so job well done. Yeah, mission accomplished. You know, so I noticed that like from the first day on set and seeing you, it's like it was something, you know, before I even knew, you know, if you were like a production assistant or the actors, and they're like, oh no, that's the star. I'm like, okay, well I can see why. You know, it's obvious, it's there in you. And so keep shining, like you said, you know, keep grinding and keep giving us pieces to, you know, to evoke thought and controversy and keep us moving. Thank you so much for doing this, man. I appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you for real. That's right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. I want you to stay on for a second after we go live. But thank you guys for checking out another episode of the Neighborish Livecast. On behalf of myself, Super Dave, aka Mr. Incredible, my man Honey Grand, Just Mike, and our illustrious guest, the beautiful and talented IO Browne. This has been another episode of the Neighborish Livecast. Take care of yourselves and each other. Have a great week. And if you get a little nervous and you got to poop, let it happen. It's going to happen. You know, have a good one, y'all. Peace.